Hi, family, and welcome to our movie Maniac Monday. As you all know what to do on Mondays. On Mondays, just throw this away from here. So on Mondays, what we do movie reviews. Like what if we watch any movie which was interesting during the weekend or any other day, we review how was the movie. So like any other Monday, today we are reviewing a movie again. And before we start with the movie, I'll just like to say again, thank you, family, for all the love and the support, and thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, and please don't forget to subscribe, comment, recommend the channel to anybody which might like it. And yeah, so for today, let's get into the movie which we are reviewing. Today we are reviewing a movie called Orphan. So the movie, we found it through documents. We like to watch a lot of documents here. So the movie, we found it through documents. There was a document which we were watching. It was about this couple which adopted a child from Russia or something. And yeah, then it turns out I can't tell what the document was about without me telling you what the movie is about. But then the movie got a trade document, and then we went to go look for the movie. And the movie's name, as I said, it's called Orphan. So the movie is, I think, it is based on a true story. Some way there is a true story like that one, but not specifically like that. It's just, in movies they have to dramatize other parts. So the movie is called Orphan. The movie, it's about this couple which it starts with this couple, which it's a nice couple. The couple is, I had some notes which, okay, I made some notes so that I can get the names right. So the couple's name is Kate and John. So Kate and John is this couple. They just lost their baby. They just lost their unborn baby. So they were going through grief, and Kate was still going to therapy and so on. So eventually, she realized that in order for her to be able to let go of the tragedy, which was the passing of the newborn baby, was for her to adopt. She already had two of her own children, which was a boy and a girl. It was the boy's name was Daniel, and the girl's name was Max, and Max was deaf. That's the only thing, but she was a very cute little girl, and Daniel was just a typical teenage boy. So they lost the baby, this couple, Kate and John, and then eventually, through the grief and everything, they decided that they want to adopt. So they went to this, what do you call it? It's like a church or a nun, your typical adoption school where they normally adopt children. So they were going through the children, looking for the children, like which child they might like, and so on. Eventually, how they find the child which they adopted. The other children were playing downstairs and so on, and then there was this child which was upstairs, and she was playing the no she was painting, I think. And John, which is the husband, went into the loo, and then when he was going back to downstairs to where the Kate and the other children were, he lost his way and find himself in that room, and then saw the girl. So when Kate came in looking for John, they saw that John was busy talking with this cute child, which was so well mannered. The child was run about 9 years old. So yeah, it's a girl. It was a girl child, around about 9 year olds, and then immediately he felt like they had a connection with this child. So immediately they chose that child, and then the child was gonna be the one which they're gonna adopt. And they adopted the child, took the child home. Okay, at home there was nothing amiss. The child came and was introduced to the other children in the family. Your Daniel and Max. The only thing in the first few days which was odd was that the new child, which the child's name was Esther, when she is in the bathroom, she locks the door. So the Kate was kind of like a bit surprised, a 9-year-old locking herself in the bathroom. And then Kate wanted to know, why do you lock yourself? We don't lock ourselves here. And then she was like, no, we used to do that in the at the where she comes from, at the church or at the nun school. Okay, and then she was like, it's fine, I can sing while I'm busy so that you can hear me. So that one was just brushed aside. And then now what happened is the child now started to have some really sneaky behaviors, Esther. She started, it started with the dress code, the way she dresses, and also whoever has a problem with her will find herself or himself in trouble or getting hurt. And also every time when there's something wrong happening, the Esther seems to be around. So she went to school the first day, and then, a typical school day, bullies and so on. And then she was bullied because of her dress code, but then eventually she sorted the child out. That's what I could say. And then what else happened? Oh, she had a Bible with men pictures, family pictures, but she had a big book which looked like a Bible, which was full of pictures, and it was written some sort of an institute in the on the. So the movie, though, it's quite long because it plays for 2 hours and few minutes, and it's a 2009 movie. And yeah, so the thing started to get creepy now when every time when Kate is trying to be close to her husband, they're trying to be intimate, Esther is always there to disturb. One minute they were sleeping and they woke up, and then there she was standing. She wanted with Max, the little girl, so they wanted to sleep with the parents, but then she wanted to sleep by the daddy's side, not by the mommy's side. Okay. So that was one of the creepy things which she used to catch on. And there was where she was adopted. The lady Kate started suspecting certain things, that something is not right with this child, and she keeps on trying to let others know that something is not right here, but others keep on thinking that she's just paranoid. And previously she also had like a drinking problem. So Kate was on rehab. Uh, so she was battling with alcohol, but apparently she was been sober for the longest time, and she was going through therapy, and Dr. Browning was the therapy doctor. So what happened is Esther was more comfortable and more happy around John than Kate, and she will do anything to get herself alone with John, or to get Kate out of the way so that she can spend some quality time with the husband, the daddy. So one of the she had a dental appointment which she refused to go. She just played it off because she didn't want to go to appointments. And then the nice thing is that day she was left with daddy, so they postponed the dental appointment. So she didn't go to the dentist that day. Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but Kate start wanting to know the history of Esther. Where does she come from? Who is she? Who was her birth parents, and so on. So she went to where they adopted her and asked the nuns for her birth documents and so on. I think what happened is that the nuns were still looking for the documents, and they were not sure, or they didn't find all the documents yet, or the most of the documents, they were just missing. she didn't have much paperwork when she got to the adoption house or adoption place. So Kate started doing some digging because Kate now started feeling suspicious about a lot of things in the house and the way Esther is behaving. So, Sister Abigail, one of the nuns came to visit Kate, coming to warn her about Esther. Apparently, she found some information about Esther, how in her previous her home where she was adopted, there was a fire which broke through, the family was burned, and then there was suspicions of the fire was arson. And you remember, every time there's a problem, Esther is around. So Esther was the only one which might have seen what happened to the fire, how the fire started, and who was involved. Yeah. So Sister Abigail came to warn Kate, and Esther overheard them, and she took Max, the little girl, but because she can't speak, so if only you could speak sign language, you're able to communicate with her. So she took Max, and Max was the was a complaints to help with all the crimes which she was committing. So they went and wait until Sister Abigail was leaving, and then they set a trap whereby Esther pushed Max into the road, and Sister Abigail almost crashed into her and stopped. And then when she stopped and got out of the car, Esther came and smashed her with the hammer, and apparently she didn't die. She rolled down the slope, and Esther followed her and smashed her again and killed her eventually, and then they hid the body in the tree house. So the movie, to tell you, I can't really explain the whole movie, but you get the grip how the movie goes. So it turns out that Esther, let's just cut the matter short. If you're really interested, you should watch the movie. It's a very interesting movie. It's thriller, it's drama, it's suspension, it's just everything. So Esther is looks like a 9-year-old girl, but when everything fell apart, and her true self is she was a 33-year-old which has got a rare dwarfism um, disease which makes her look like a child, and so on. So all along, the 9-year-old which they adopted was not a 9-year-old. It was actually a 33-year-old which had a rare dwarfism disease. And she even went as far as trying to seduce the husband. And one of the things which happened, they found out that she wasn't from a non place. She was actually from a mental institute from Ukraine. That's how she got there. So what she does is she imposes herself as a child, and then she gets adopted, gets into the family, tries to seduce the husband. If the husband doesn't want her, she kills the husband, the wife, the whole family. So this family also had their own battles, because she managed to step uh, John. She tried to kill Daniel. uh, and also eventually when she exposed herself to John, John was shocked, yeah, but then by that time it was too late. She was like fighting, angry, and the reason why she didn't want to go to the dentist is she used to wear some sort of dentures on top of her real teeth, so with her real teeth you could see her real age. But I really enjoyed the movie which I watched this weekend. And yes, it's got a lot of, it makes a person to think, because if you're really looking into adoptions and so on, what are the do's and don'ts? But then I can't really say there's a right or wrong way. It's just that if you find those rare events whereby you chose the wrong child, you just have to deal with it. But the the movie often as well doesn't really play justice to the movie. They should have just said the psycho child or something, because the child was crazy. And although eventually in the end you find out that it's not a child, it's a full grown woman, was just imposing like a child. Yes, they did take her to normal schooling, like which for her own age and so on. Because one of the things which made Kate angry is that when she came for the first time in the house, she was like, she saw a piano and was like, oh, a piano. And then Kate was like, I'll teach it to you. And then after a few after a few days, or let's say, Kate walks in and there she was playing the most difficult piece on the piano with no difficulties, like she was perfect. And then when Kate was shocked that, oh, you can play the piano, and then she's like, you offered, so you didn't ask whether I can play, you just offered to teach me to play the piano. So Kate eventually she started realizing that it feels like she's treating her as a child, which she thought she is when she adopted her, only to find out that she was dealing with another woman the same age as her, and she was very manipulative. So it's just one of those mental movies where you enjoy watching, and you also ask yourself that, like, do we really have certain people which are like this in the world, or was this just maybe one of those unfortunate events? But the movie was quite good. I enjoyed it. I think even the acting was done well, and I think for anybody, I would recommend to watch the movie if you want a movie with a lot of twists, a movie which is gonna leave you shocked, surprised. So, um, that's all we have today, family. The movie we reviewed, or we just watched over the weekend, was Often. As I said, it played for 2 hours and few minutes. I'm not sure, 2 hours and 3 minutes. And the cast was Kate, John, Esther, Sister Abigail, Daniel, Dr. Brownman, Dr. Varava. Dr. Varava was the person which, when Kate started to do the digging now, she went into Esther's room and go to that Bible and then tried to look through the Bible for anything which might leave a clue and or so on. So one thing which she saw in the Bible, it was the name of an institute. So when she called the institute, they couldn't speak English, so they had to refer somebody else to her to try to understand. So she was asking, is this the adoption, whatever? And then the person was like, no, this isn't an adoption, this is a mental institute. And then she wanted to know about this person, the girl Esther. So when they told her who was the girl, and they told her that if the person is by your house now, you better call the police and tell your family to get out of the. So by the time she got to, she was in hospital when she got the phone call to confirm that that girl in her house is actually a psycho, and it's not a little girl, it's a full-grown woman. She was already in hospital, but she had to spend the night in hospital. She lost it. Daniel was in hospital because Esther decided to burn the tree house, and Daniel was inside the tree house. He was trying to go get the evidence to show that Esther was a psycho, because Max, which was Esther's sidekick, because was drawing all the things which Esther was doing, killing the sister, the nun, all of those things. So where they hid the body and so on. So she showed the drawings to her brother Daniel, and then Daniel was trying to go to the tree house to go get the evidence so that they could be able to get rid of Esther, because Daniel wasn't happy from day one when Esther got the in the beginning. It's more like, as a child, where you feel like your territory has been taken over. It was nothing more like sinister, But then as they grew getting to know this girl, she became more and more of a question mark, and yes, she just wanted to be the favorite child. So Daniel was trying to go discover the evidence when Esther burned down the tree house, and then Daniel was on top of the tree house. By that time, they were already convinced that Kate needs to go back, needs to go to a rehab center or something, because she was losing it, because she was the one which could see right through Esther now. And every time when she tried to convince the others that there's something wrong with this child, she was seen as the crazy person. That Esther child is so manipulative. Like the child is beyond. You could see that you are dealing with a full grown up with experience. So the movie was one of those twisted movies, but yeah, it was very interesting, and I really enjoyed watching it. So for today, family, without wasting any time, I think that will be our goodbye. So thank you very much for all the love and support, and thank you for coming by to this channel. Hopefully you'll stick around, and please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, and thank you, family, for all the growth. I really, really appreciate it as well. Until we meet again on our movie Maniac Monday, which we're not sure which movie we'll be reviewing next week. But thank you, and bye. See you next week.